Okay, fantastic. Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome to today's class. So today we are going to officially be starting our WordPress tutorial, and we're going to do some things, some major things. This is the way it's going to go. I will talk to you about what WordPress is, as well as where you can do different types of WordPress that actually exist. I'll also be talking to you about an overview of why WordPress is popular and all of those things. Then I will speak to you about the difference between WordPress and WordPress.org. Then I'm going to confirm that you have all downloaded local to your laptop. I'll be discussing about building WordPress offline and online. And so I believe that most of you should have downloaded local by now. And so if you have downloaded local, fantastic. We will just go into creating our first site. However, if you have not downloaded local, I will just put the link in the chat box for you to do that. And while I'm going through the lessons, I'm also going to show you how to download it and um, what it is about. It's very simple to download. However, it's large, so it might take some time to actually um, download it. So let's get right into it. So basically, WordPress is literally a powerful content management system, and it is widely used when we're talking about different platforms to build websites. We talked about WordPress. We talked about content management system. We talked about design platforms and all of that. And so WordPress, we discussed it that it was a content management system. It basically allows you to create and manage your website easily. It's also an open source platform, so it is free to use, and you can literally modify according to your needs. It's very flexible, very flexible compared to um, so many other website builders or website platforms that you can build website, like we have seen in Canva, in Wix and all of that. WordPress provides a user-friendly interface, and you can customize the themes, plugins, and you can literally even create a theme and plugin for yourself. And it's kind of beginner friendly because usually it doesn't require so much of code. However, like we had discussed previously, there's a level you will get to that you will require, or some kind of customization that you will need, that you definitely require some level of coding to it. And when we get there, I'm going to be talking to you about it. But then to a large extent, it is accessible to beginners and require little or no coding. With WordPress, you can literally create different types of websites. And I dare to say any kind of websites, from e-commerce stores to blog to portfolio websites, business websites, anything at all. And it is flexible and scalable. So you can add pages, blog posts, images, videos, any multimedia element at all. You can literally manipulate anything. Like I've said before, I'm reiterating again. One thing I love about it is the extensive customization options that it has. Now, with WordPress, there's a unique framework to it. There's how it works. And I always, when I want to talk about WordPress, I always use the illustration of liking to build a house. When you want to build a house, what's the first thing you do? You buy the land. When you buy the land, you clear the land, Abby. Now, when you identify the land and you buy the land, sometimes the land is on paper. But when you now go there and begin to clear the land, the space, you're able to, you take a surveyor and now mark the deckings that this is where this is the scope of the land. You mark the scope of the land. What you've just done when you've bought the land is like you've bought the domain, but it's hanging on the air. So you have the papers of it, but you've not gone there to market. Your hosting is literally you now going there with the surveyor to mark the places that you're going to literally be building your house or doing your house. And so you mark those places, you clear the land, you arrange the place. That's what hosting does for you. The hosting is an environment. It is the house that houses your content. It is what gives tangibility to the domain that you have bought. So if you just buy a domain, it will just be floating in the air. But when you have put in, when you attach it to a hosting, when you connect the domain to a hosting, it becomes tangible. That even if you have not built anything on it, if you put it online, you put that domain, something will come up and maybe say site's not reached or something, but something will come out. But prior to doing that, it's just floating on the air. They might tell you domain has been purchased or something, but it's something floating in the air. That's how it is when you're building a house. So you can buy, you can see a land and buy a land, but until you've gone to market and identified it and done what maybe you call the C of one, then use those mark those, I don't know whether they call them deckings or something. There's this thing that are boxes that you market. That's the hosting environment. So when you have done that, cleared the, you've bought the land, you've not cleared, you've identified the space. That is the hosting environment. On that space, you can do so many things. On a part of that space, you're going to build a house, Abby. On another part of the space, I believe that you might want to build a car park area, you might want to build a swimming pool, like different things. It just depends on you. But that is the whole area of land. That is your hosting. So your hosting has this broad environment where you can literally do or any and almost anything on that space, right? And one of the things you can do on that space is build your own website. And that area of land, that part of that whole land that you want to build your house, that place, you will now install WordPress. So that's the hosting. So you install WordPress. But when you install WordPress, it's more like you have now dug the ground. You know, when you want, before you, when you start building your house, you have cleared the land. The next thing to do is to dig the ground. Now, when you dig the ground, you now begin to lay the foundation. The foundation of the house or the foundation you're going to set is dependent on the kind of house that you want to build. So if you want to build a duplex, the foundation you will dig or the foundation you will build will be deeper. Sorry, a sec. I don't know why somebody's disturbing me. Will be deeper than um building a bungalow, right? And even when you're building the foundation as well, the kind of deckings you're going to use and all of that is dependent on the final of the house. That's why it's always encouraged, it's always advisable that before you build a house, you have an architectural plan. It's more like the scripture that says, who is it that wants to build a house that will not sit down and count the cost? You do the architectural plan and see what it's like. And when you look at it, you now know the kind of foundation or what to build around it. You don't just build a house without an architectural plan. And if you look at one of the introductory videos I shared with you, is a video I shared with Tech Up Girls, I mentioned that it's important you have a site map. Now, most times people overthink a site map. They think the site map, you literally have to go to, you literally have to have what do they call this thing now? You literally have to have maybe Figma or something to build that site map, or you have to have a UI interface designed to build it. You really don't need that. You can just get a piece of paper and a pen, maybe an A3 paper and A4 paper, and a pencil, maybe not a pen, a pencil, so that you can clean and just begin to draw and to sketch. What do you want it to be like? How many pages do you want it to be like? How do you want to arrange it? I love to use an A3 paper because an A3 paper gives me a wide overview. It's wider, and so I can draw and draw and draw. I think it's easier, number one. Number two, I think it's simpler, it's easier, and I think it's faster. So because I love to think on paper and it's faster for me, and also when I'm doing that sitemap, most times I love to turn off my phone to avoid distraction. But if you're working on the online, you're easily distracted. You have this, you have that, it may take a lot of time. But if you're building a sitemap, but if you're building a sitemap, you on pen and paper, it will be clear and it will spread out. You will have the time to really sit down and think and build it. So you now have that environment. You've drawn that. I don't know if people are just joining. They're distracting me. They're distracting my thought flow. So you now have that environment. You have now dug the land, and then you begin to build the foundation. So looking at what you're going to build, you determine the foundation you build. On WordPress, this foundation is just, it's called themes. So you hear theme. Is the foundation that is called a theme. You cannot just go and choose any team and just install the team like that. What if your team cannot carry a learning management system and the client, or you want to have a learning management system later? Now, it is better you have a full cross-functional team that has all you need, and then you underutilize it, and when you're ready you can optimize it, than to have a substandard team that does not work. And so when you want to now upgrade, you now go and purchase another team, and if the team is now compatible with what you've done before, because if it's not, it might crash everything and you now have to start doing a design all over again. So that is the team. So once you have done the foundation, and then you've now raised the block, even if you're raising a block, I'm going to give a quick example. We have a house in the village and it's quite big, and we're trying to renovate it, but this house has a part of the house has a this curve area. I don't know, olden days house, they build it like that a lot, like a C, like a curve and all. And my dad is saying, no, we want it to become block, like we want it to become have a square rectangular shape. And we're asking the architect how we're going to do that. It's like we're going to have to pull that down, because if you try to rearrange it, it will not be durable. So we have to pull that down and now start, like, it's just that's just how it is. So knowing what you want to build, having the end in mind, is very critical to what you have, what will you come out with. So once you have done that, that's the team. Once you put the team, the structure of the website, you can now begin to have plugins to enhance the functionality. Oh, I want my forms to look like this. I want my social media to be scrolling on the website. I want the eye to bend. I want the banner to this. Those things are, there are different plugins for it. And when we go to plugins, I'm going to be teaching you how to maximize effort such that you don't use so much plugin, because even with using so much plugin can be rendering so many CSS. We're going to be discussing that when we go. So through this tutorial, through this lesson, we're going to be learning on the job. So I'm going to be showing you each step as we're learning. And as we're learning, anything I encounter, I'll be teaching you about it. But first, let's just have this overview. So the plugin gives it that functionality. Oh, I want to use gloss paint for my wall. Oh, no, I want to use plain paint. Oh, I want to use satin paint. Those are plugins. They give those functionalities. So that's basically how WordPress literally works. And one of the advantages of it, it has an active and supportive community. So you can always access resources, forums, tutorials to troubleshoot any issue. One of the things that will help you to be a good website designer or developer, whether WordPress or even if you're coding full stack, MongoDB, anyone, HTML, CSS, you can't cram everything on your head. And there are always constant updates. There are always constant updates and stuff. And so you have to get used to sending queries, researching in communities, Stackflow, Google, all of those things, and searching and looking for the relevant thing that can serve your need. Don't just get stuck. If you No matter what I teach you, there might be something dynamic that you also find as you go along the way. So instead of just shutting down and say, I don't know how to do this, always try to find out, check deeply. You definitely find something for it. So overall, WordPress is versatile and it's user friendly, and you can literally use it to create professional and dynamic websites. Like I said, it is incredibly popular and it's very versatile. So if you had watched introductory lectures, I think you already understand what the content management system is. WordPress, they say, powers over 40% of all the websites on the internet. And so it's literally the most widely used CMS. It does a lot of things. And if you sit down with it, most times it's cheaper, because you'll be paying for, you want to do a sales funnel and then you're paying for most of these third-party platforms, and they can be really expensive. But if you're good with WordPress, you would spend little to nothing developing one all on your WordPress site, but you have to sit with it and you get it right? Um, most brands use it. Most brands. You can build almost anything on WordPress today. uh or what else do I need? Did I not cover? There are also several plugins. There's literally almost plugin for everything on WordPress, but now not all plugins are compatible with all teams, and so that's why I said it's important to know what you're building and to start from there. WordPress also provides multilingual capabilities where you can create websites and you can translate it to different languages for you to cater for a global audience. And it's also good with SEO if you know your way around it, which you're going to be learning here. Another thing with WordPress is there's always constant updates. They're always releasing updates, and you have to keep updating and checking. Okay, not updating and checking. You have to keep checking and updating. Checking first to be sure the update is relevant and updating, because if you don't, it might leave your site vulnerable. We're going to be all looking at all of that much later. Now, when it comes to WordPress, accessing WordPress, there are two different WordPress. So if you Google WordPress now or download WordPress, you see WordPress.com and WordPress.org. They are actually different. They are different to a large extent, but people don't know. They just think WordPress is WordPress, right? So the differences: number one, hosting. With WordPress.com, WordPress provides the hosting for you. WordPress has a hosting, just like how you purchase hosting from Bluehost, you purchase hosting from HostGator, from Namecheap. WordPress also has their hosting. Even with Bluehost and HostGator, you see that aside shared hosting, they will also ask you if you want to purchase WordPress hosting. So WordPress.com has its own hosting. You can sign up for a free account there, and you can also purchase a domain from them as well and choose your premium plan and all of that. It's also easy to use, but the limitations with it is with customization. So it doesn't have as many features, or access to customization like WordPress.org, right? However, it's very controlled, just like somehow like Wix, but a little bit more flexible than Wix. So with WordPress.com, they take care of your maintenance, updates, backups, and all of that. And then WordPress is generally free, whether WordPress.com or .org. But if you now want to add your domain to WordPress.com, you will need to pay for a plan. So you can start WordPress.com for free, but if you want to add your domain, you pay for a plan. And if you want to monetize, you also pay for a plan. So just like you're paying for a hosting plan. WordPress.com is what most of these people that you see using blogger.com, you see somebody's name like, let's say, chneb.blogger.com. Most of them is WordPress.com that they use. However, with WordPress.org, you're hosting your site independently. You need to have your own hosting, your domain set up for your site. You also have complete control over your site's design and functionality, everything. So you can literally customize anything, and it is also very flexible. It's very flexible. You can install any theme that's available on the WordPress ecosystem. You own it. You literally own it, and you're responsible for even maintaining it. So you're the one that will do the updates, backup, like it's just all you. And you can decide to monetize your site whether you like it or not. It's just all you. So generally, the difference is WordPress.org is all you. WordPress.com, you have you don't have all the control, but it's simpler and it's hosted by WordPress, but you have fewer customization options. But with WordPress.org, you have greater flexibility, control, and also customization possibilities. So we've talked about WordPress.com, WordPress.org, and generally we're talking about WordPress, and I have done the illustration of the building a site. For those that came late, the replay will be made available to you. We have a lot to cover today because we missed last class because of my internet, and we are running on the speed. So I couldn't wait for everybody. I had to start. So you can access the replay. But now we've looked at all of WordPress. We are going into the technical aspects now. You can build WordPress. Everybody always believed that you can build WordPress online, but you can also build WordPress offline. So prior to now, most of you might think, oh, before I can build a WordPress site, I have to buy a domain and a hosting, because that's the popular tutorial that is everywhere. However, for a while now, it's been there, but it's not so common because it's a little bit technical. It's a little bit more technical than just buying your domain and hosting and building a site. You can actually build a WordPress site offline. Now, in building a WordPress site offline, even prior to what I'm teaching you now, there used to be a format where we call it, there's a XAMPP format. You install it on your desktop, you do some code, you use some commands and all of that, which is very technical as well. But thank God for improving technology. There's a platform called Local. Local is I've put the name in the chat box before, and in the last class, prior to the last class, I'd also encourage all the participants to download it. Mentioned that it is fast and easy to download. However, it's easy to download, but it is not, it takes time because it's quite large. So I'm going to share my screen now for you to see. No, this is not what I want you to see. Let me hold on. So I need to share my screen with you so you to see. Okay. So this is localwp.com, and it is free to use. Actually, it is free to use, except you want to buy their hosting, which we'll talk about hosting and domain later. And all you need to do when you come here is click here to download for free, or for here. When you click on download for free, it asks you to choose your environment. What type of device are you using? Mac, Windows, Linux. If you're using Mac, if you want to know if it's Intel or Apple Silicon, just go to this up here and go to about this Mac. So if you go to about this Mac, it will tell you mine is Intel, right? It will tell you what you're using, whether it's Intel. I'm using Intel, my processor. It will tell you whether it's Intel or Apple Silicon. So choose the one you want and then put in your name, details, your email, and then click get now. Once you click get now, it automatically downloads to your it automatically downloads to your computer. It's very simple, but I think it's about 300. For Mac, I don't know about Windows. I think it's about 300 MB. So it depends on how fast your internet is. So once you have downloaded it, you have the app looking like this. It has this icon like this, but the green one. And so I have it here. And so when you have it opened this way, you have two options. Most times you might not be logged in. And so when you open it, it will ask you to log in. Um, or create an account. So you can do that, can log in or create an account, but always do please. Now it's a very simple interface. You have your account here. If you click on it, you see your accounts. This is asking me to log in again. So I'm just going to quickly log in. One thing about local is from time to time it keeps getting you to log in, so don't be offended, just log in. You see this is local, this is the sites you've created, you'll be here. Now with local you could create as many sites as possible. Another thing with local is you can work on it offline as well, like without internet, but you can also connect to internet, but you really don't need a domain and hosting. And then here these are blueprints. Now what blueprints are I'm going to be showing you when you create your first WordPress site. There are some things that you do. I call it cleanup. I always do that. I just clean up the site, because when you install your WordPress, there are some things that automatically comes with it, some plugins, some themes, some what things you don't need. So I usually clean it up, set up the what I want before I now even introduce my theme or plugins that I want to it. So when you've done that, you can create it as a blueprint, such that subsequently when you're building other sites, you don't have to go and be doing all those things all over again. But if you're fast at it. And then you have other ones you can add, and here you can get support. So to create a new site, you can click here or you can click here. So I'm clicking here to create a new site. So I just explained what a blueprint is. Like you have pre-installed some things, some format, and you can always come. So in our tutorial today, I'm going to creating a new site, right? Then maybe if we have time today, I'll show you. We might not have time today because there's a lot I have to show you. But in our next class, or maybe in a pre-recorded video, I will create a blueprint and show you, and then you will now see how to subsequently use the blueprint to create sites, right? So this is it. Create a new site. You click on this. I encourage you guys that if you're coming to class, try to watch from your phone so that you can practice on your laptop. But if you do not have that, you can pay attention. There will be a replay. Then you select a file where you want to display. Click on select a file where you want your stuffs, where you want your websites to be saved on your device. So for me, I'm going to go to um, desktop. I'll just save it in desktop. Hold on. Sorry, this is not where you're supposed to save it. This is actually sorry, what am I clicking? So this is not where you're supposed to save it. So this is actually fine. So if you already have a website, maybe you've developed your website, this is a fresh local account. If you've developed your website before, you can select it here to open it and edit it. You can import a site. This for import. Sorry, this interface is a little bit new. It's different from what I've used before. So this is a little bit new. So you can import it here. So click on create a new site, then click on continue. Then you give your name a site. Give your site a name, like I always do. I like to give it Rika Joshua. Then in these advanced options, it picks up the name of what you've put here as well as the local parts. Now, the name, just like we looked at Wix, we looked at Canva. When you don't have a custom domain, it just gives you an automatic name. So these parts you can edit. You can edit all these parts. So I'm going to edit it this way. While this part is where it is saved on your device. This is what I was trying to do in the first part. That was a mistake. So if I click on browse, I can go to my desktop and I can create a new folder and just call it local files, or WordPress files or something. And I'll just create and I will open it. This is where I want to be saving my website. So you can create a local part for it on your website, so you can have all your sites on one folder, in one folder or in one site. So you can edit this, the domain, and then remember it's not your custom domain, but it's something you'll be using to open your site if you need to. Then you click on continue. Now, what local does is that it automatically picks up the latest configuration. The latest PHP configuration is 8.1.9 at the moment. So if tomorrow is 8.2, it's going to pick it up. And then it picks up this name server and SQL. Now, the SQL version is literally your database where your data is stored. That's what some people call it SQL, some people call it SQL. So that's what it is. And then if you don't want this, you can choose the custom and choose what you want. Maybe if you scroll, you see this is the latest. Maybe what the theme you have decided to use for maybe whatever reasons, maybe you've realized that it might not be able, it might not, they say it's not compatible with this PHP or maybe the server that was there. So you can decide which one you want. Maybe you want Apache server or you want to change the database. You can always change it. But I usually go with preferred and you click on continue. Now, in this place, it is very important that you're careful what you put here and you remember it, because when you're signing in into your WordPress backend in admin, your WordPress admin backend, this is what you're going to use. So for my WordPress backend, I like to use excellence, and then I will put my password, and then you put your WordPress email, the email you want to receive notifications about this, or the admin email. So I put this up. For advanced option is asking if it's a WordPress multi-site or not. A WordPress multi-site is you have one WordPress installation, but you have more than one site in it. So say, for example, I have excellencejoshua.com, which is my normal site. But on that same website, I have a subdirectory. A subdirectory is something like excellencejoshua.com/my books or something. The difference between a subdirectory and a subdomain is a domain is mybooks.excellencejoshua.com. Subdirectory is excellencejoshua.com/my books. So we'll use that new WordPress environment. We'll use the same hosting that you have. We use the same themes and plugin that you have, but we look different. You can customize it differently than what you have on your main site. Do you get? Most people use that, especially when they have sorry, most people use that actually when they have maybe books, they want to do different landing pages and all of that. So you use you can create a multi-site website. But if you're creating a multi-site website, make sure that you have a strong hosting, not the basic hosting of $15 or whatever that is very slow and not able to catch it up. You want to have a good hosting to accommodate multi-sites. But we're going to be looking at multi-sites later, because when you want to create a multi-site, you have to create the directory in the cPanel. If you want to do the subdirectory or the subdomain, and then you connect it. However, when you're setting up the site, make sure you choose if you want it to be multi-site from the get-go. Choose it. You can always set up the multi-site later, but if you don't want, most sites are not multi-sites. You can have no, and then you click on add site. It just takes a few minutes and your site is ready. So let's give it a few minutes to get ready. Once it gets ready, I will pause teaching and I will just take a few questions if you have any before we now go into that. So my my MacBook is heavily protected. So yeah, I have to put in my password to accommodate what it's trying to save. So just in case yours come up like that, or it asks you, I think Windows will tell you yes, I agree to yes, or something like that. Forgotten what it says. Like do you, something's trying to give you that notification, you can give it a yes go. And if you're able to do this while I'm doing it, fantastic. If not, it's also fine. You get the replay, like I said, to access it. But if you've not downloaded local, start downloading local already. So let's give it a few minutes to download. I want you to see it downloading. I don't want to turn off the screen and then allow it to come up. I want you to see it fully set up, that there's nothing hinging it. Just give it some time. It's going to download. Okay, while it's downloading, let me take questions if you have any. Um, Let me allow it. It's going to definitely come up. But does anybody have any questions so far? Or if you're clear, also let me know you're clear. Still downloading. Does anybody have any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, Naya said it's clear. Abdul Malik, welcome. Is it clear? Did you joined late? I don't know if you really understood what we were talking about.
Yes, I'm just following up.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm, yes,
Benson, is it
I'm jotting down.
your what?
I'm jotting down. I'm jotting down the point. So maybe after the end of the course, I have something to ask. But for now,
Okay,
I don't have anything to ask.
okay, okay. Benson, is it clear?
Yes, ma, it's clear.
Okay, let me check it again. It's still downloading. Please let's give it a few minutes. Um, Now once it finishes downloading, I'll show you a few things to get it secured, and then I will begin to show you the WordPress environment, showing you the different parts of it, as well as showing you different parts of the WordPress environment. Then I'll also show you what I talked to you about clearing um, about clearing the environment that you want to use. So let's give it. It's not supposed to take this long. I don't know why it's taking long. And my network is good. But let's give it a little time. I'm sorry, guys. Let's give it a little time. I'm still here, please. I'm waiting for it to set up. Why is this taking time? I don't want to stop it, so I'm still here. I'm just highlighting yours. I'm still here while it's setting up. This is taking so long. Okay, our first site is ready. Are you guys still here? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Our first site is up. So this is the first one. This is the second one I'm adding. So don't worry. So this is up. And this is all we have. So you have the overview where you see the site's name. You can change this name. And then this SSL, I'm going to show you what it's about in a bit. And then the database, I'm going to talk to you about the one-click admin shortly and the WordPress version, which is the latest. I told you that you can't change the multi-site. So if you're choosing a multi-site, you choose it from the beginning. So this is the multi-site, and then for debug, if you go to database, you have the database here as well, and then you have some other tools which we'll be looking at later. So if you click on here, it will redirect and go to the browser and open the site. Do you see? This is the site. However, the site is not secured. Yes, you can build your site here, but if you have the option to secure it, why not? So all you need to do is come to SSL. SSL is security for your site, and it just makes it sure. So um it just what it does is that it helps you bypass the the browser security option. Now that you click on trust here and then you later go and export the site to your site does not mean you won't pay for SSL if you have to. Do you understand? So you have to still pay for SSL when you're setting up your site online, like on the online space which you're hosting. But for now, you can click on trust here. So it just trusts it. So once you click on trust, um I don't know, it seems there's an issue here tonight. I don't think this is trust. Okay, run into an issue. Okay, so I don't want to waste people's time tonight, so I'm just going to move past this. But just know that when you click on trust, you trust. I will try it again later. But when you click on trust and you go to the site, this place you will not see this not secured. You have it. You have a padlock like this on it. So just note that. So this is the back end of the site, and this is a general site. Um, Let me come back here. Now, another thing you can do is one-click admin. If you toggle this on and you select your name here, whenever you're logged into local, and let me go this off, sorry, first. If I click on this WordPress admin, it takes me to the back end of the website, and it will require me to use my username and my password. That username and password that I set up, I told you that is a WordPress one. I used Excellence and then I put my email and the password. That's what this is. However, if I come here and I toggle this one-click admin and I choose Excellence here, and I go to this WordPress admin, it will not require me to log in. Do you see the difference? However, if you have this off, it will require you to log in. But if you don't have this off, that is on, and then you are logged into local and you open this back end, it takes you to the WordPress back end dashboard. So a normal WordPress comes like this. It has all of these things. Usually, if you go to post, you see one hello world there. And if you go to plugin, you might see one or two. This one doesn't even have. Now, I'm going to explain all of the. Then, if you go to themes, you see some themes, some WordPress core themes there. I'm going to go back to dashboard. Now, I'm going to explain all the parts of this WordPress site to you carefully. So pay attention. Why? Because even when you're building this site online on a WordPress environment, it's the same way this thing is back end that is going to be there as well. So we're going to build stuff's back end, and then we'll now go online and then build online as well. I'll show you how to do that, and we'll now do some customizations online as well. So pay attention. So I told you that the first thing I always do when I come to a WordPress site is to clear the site. But before I clear the site, I want to show you what these icons are. First, you have this WordPress. It just takes you to the WordPress repository. I told you WordPress.org is where you have your full access to your site, which is what we are using, and most times is what most sites use. But if you're a blogger, you can just go and try start using WordPress.com. Then you have this, which is shows you the name of the site and the home. But if you hover around it, like you just take your mouse around it to tell you visit site. If you have a learning management system here and a store, if you hover around it, you see visit site, visit store, visit courses or something. So you can click on it and it will open up to the site. What I usually do is I like to right click. I just right click on it and it just brings you to this front end. And if you look at it, it's looking a little bit bland, save for what is already there. And we're going to be editing everything. Here you have comments. If you begin to have comments on your site, people comment on your blogs or your pages, you see the comments here. Here you have new. If you click on this new, you can create a post. That's a blog post or a page post. You can create a page, you can add media, or you can add a user. Another place you can create a post is here. If you click here, you can see all your posts, add a new post, set category of your post, or tags. This post is where all your blog posts can come in, your article. It's here they can come in. Then we have media. You can add media here or from here. Everything, photos, everything, videos, everything, documents, it's here you add them. Library, or you can add new. But this is not where you add your theme and plugin, but any other media, document, photos, videos, files, this is where you add the media. For most sites, I like to bring in all my media into the site before I start. So I bring them all in, and then when I start, it becomes easy. I'm not waiting to upload. Here you have pages. You can see all your pages on new. For most websites, WordPress site, they always put a privacy policy template as well as a sample page. When I'm cleaning up my site, I toggle it all up and then I just move them to trash. I put what I want. Then I go to trash and I empty trash. I literally take it off. I want everything to be as blank as possible. So you can see your pages here. This is where you see your pages, home page, um home page, about page, all the pages you have, you see them here. Then here you have comments. There's usually the hello comments. I can just decide to trash this, go to trash again and empty trash. This is how I clean up. I'm showing you how I clean up the site. I clean up everything. Then you have appearance. Your appearance is where your themes are. Usually it will come with 2 or 3 themes. Now you have 2021, 2022, and 2023. You can literally, they can also maybe with time they might bring 2024 and then you see just 2022, 2023, and 2024. So the WordPress sites will come with this. Depending if you're using some hosting, they might even give you some other plug for other themes. What I do is I click on each. When you click on it, you see the option to delete. I delete and I leave only the latest there. I click on it and I delete. It doesn't mean that's what I'm going to use, but it will just be my backup theme. So I just leave one there. If you want to add a theme to your website, you just click on, we're going to talk about a bit more about themes later. You just click on add new. Okay, let's talk about it now. So these are themes. You can add a new theme to your website. If you click on add new, it takes you to WordPress repository of themes. WordPress has so many themes. If you see here, 5,579, you can group them by popular, by latest, that's the latest that have been released, by block teams, or by favorite teams. You don't have any, we don't have any favorite teams here. We're new. Or you can use this feature to filter it. Maybe I want a portfolio site. I want what and what on the site. I want layout, whatever you want, and you can apply filters. And WordPress can just filter the themes for you. When you see any of these themes, you can click on it or right click like I love to do. Right click as I love to do. to view the details and preview. So if you click on it, you see what the site is like. This is what this one is like. So you can do that there, or you can click on it here to view it and see what the site is like. You can also read more about it by the side here, and you don't have to install here. So this is what it somehow looks like. um you see all of them. You can always click on it to detail and preview. You can click there, or you can click preview. That is before you install. So whichever one you now decide to install, you can now click on install here, right? However, you can also upload a theme from outside. If you want to upload a theme, maybe you've bought the theme externally and you've downloaded it to your system, you click on add new, then you click on upload and you choose the file. The file is usually a zip format. And in saying that, you can buy themes externally. There are many places, there are many people that sell themes, WordPress themes that are compatible with WordPress. The most popular is what we call Theme Forest. You can check themeforest.com or themeforest.net, is the same thing. They're the same thing. So they have in this theme forest, they have a lot of templates and themes, not just for WordPress. You have templates and themes for WordPress. You also have codes if you need codes. That's for scripts for your PHP and all. You also have video templates as well. You also have audio templates. You even have graphics templates if you're a graphic designer and you can use Photoshop or Adobe products like Adobe Design and all of that. Team Forest has it. You also have photos, maybe stock images. You can see them here as well. So if you want to find a theme, you can literally search for it here, or you can just click on WordPress and click the theme you want. So if, for example, I want to search for a business, no, instead of saying business, I would say accounting website, and I just click on search. So it brings up a lot for me. Themes, templates. We're going to be looking at templates later. We're looking at Elementor. We're going at themes, templates. You see, this is a theme, this is a theme, this is the template kit. So to filter it to just get themes for you, just click on WordPress. See WordPress here. WordPress. So it gives you UI templates. That's for UI UX designers and all of that. You can see all of that. And so you begin to see all these things. These are their prices. You can purchase them, or before you purchase, you can click on this is live preview, or you click on it first. When you click on it, the first thing I like to do is to do live preview. So I can open the live preview here, and sorry, that was my internet. So you can open the live preview here to see what the site looks like. All the themes that you purchase, they can actually be customized. Everything can be customized. So you look here and you can see what it looks like, what the site is going to look like. You can scroll through, you can go through and see just like a normal site. Then another thing I look at is how many sales they have. Then I go to the reviews. This has just 3 reviews. It's literally most likely a new team. But 3 reviews, this is a year ago, 3 years ago. That means it's been a while, but they have only 3 reviews. And they have 1 out of 3 sales. There might be a comma here. How can you have just 3 reviews? This one say very good design. This one say excellent team. I recommend it. This one says thanks for the team. I'm not too sure. I won't be comfortable with this. It was published in 2019. Last update 2022 December. Not bad. But then for just 3 reviews for 143 sales, I might not be comfortable. You can now go to comments. Comments is different from reviews. Comments will telling you the people that are complaining. Hey, do you work on WordPress? This you can see what the complaints are. This is asking if it's comfortable. So the complaints might make sense or it might not. Now I need you to note that Team Forest offers a refund, like what do you call it now? Refund, but the refund is not immediate. Usually, when you buy a team, the the seller has to confirm that they've tried all their possible means to help you, because you usually have 6 months support on without even extra support. So if they say they've tried everything and you're the one refusing and you just want to refund, they will not refund you. So it's a lot. It's really dynamic. So I encourage that you sit down and go through it. So you look at it. When you look at the reviews and the comment and it's something you might like, as well as the live preview, the next thing you want to read the description and also see what is, because it has a book an appointment form, case study page. You want to see what it contains, WooCommerce, key customizer. These are the plugins it comes with. Like, you want to be sure it's what you like. As when we go into after Teams, when we go into looking at page builders, there's WP Bakery, there's Elementor, there's Driver Check. There's so many like that. This one now was built on Visual Composer. Visual Composer is like WP Bakery, and it's a little bit dynamic. Most people cannot use it very well. So if you know it's not your fault, you might not want to purchase this thing. You might, if you're used to Elementor, you might want to just go and use a website that has Elementor. But the beautiful thing is that it gives you so many. I want to take us back to our business website. So the beautiful thing is that it gives you so many options. So you can literally be opening them on different pages on a new tab to view before you make a purchase. Now, another thing that you can purchase, I told you Team Forest is the most popular, but then you have Blossom Teams. You have so many other places you can buy teams, but Team Forest is most popular. Now, Team Forest is by Evanto Market, and Evanto Market has something they call Evanto Elements. It's showing here pop up, but even if it doesn't, if you Google Evanto Elements, you will see it. Now, unlike this Team Forest, where each one has a price $48, 50. Some very good teams can go as high as $75 or even one and something dollars. Envanto Elements, which is this elements.envanto.com. Please, can someone remind me later in case you guys are not getting the link so that I can share the links with you in the group? With Evanto Elements, you can subscribe, and most people do this. Evanto Elements also has sound effects, it has tutorials, it has photos and all. But with Evanto Elements, it's about $38 per month. This $16.5 is if you're buying for a year. If you're buying for a year, if you're buying annually, that's what they're showing you here. Once you click on Start Now, let me even click it for you so that you see. Once you click on Start Now, it will, I hope this will not charge me. Aha, it's actually $33. It used to be $30. If you change, it's $33 per month. So if you're paying per month, but if you're paying annually, you're paying $16.5. So Evanto Elements has, when you subscribe like that, you literally, if you go here, more, you can see WordPress. You can go to WordPress themes. It has so many themes as well, so many themes, so many plugins that you can use. But if I want to give you a sincere feedback, I've not enjoyed Envato Elements as much as that, because some of the themes, you download them and they have some glitches, and you do not have access to support from the owners like you will have on Team Forest. Team Forest, you can email the owners, provide support, you have your license key and all. But with Envato Elements, it's not like that. And it feels that sometimes they have purchased a team from Team Forest as well as use the subscription to download the same team on Envato Elements, and I saw some differences. So you want to check. If you're a beginner, you might want to pay for Envato Elements for 1 month so you can explore it. But with Envato Elements, it's not only the WordPress theme you have 3D files, you have graphics, you have UI UX, you have graphic element for Figma, you have sound effects, you have so many things that you can modify. I know some organizations or some individuals that are graphic designers of big companies, and they do not design from scratch. They usually pay for subscription for Inventor Elements, and let me just show you. They just go to the designs and they extract a template and they just edit it the way they want. You can find almost all designs here, just like Canva, but then these ones are more advanced. They are Photoshopping like and all. So these are teams, and then these are places you can get teams. Let me go back to our dashboard. So once you download the team, it will come into your your system as a as a zip file. I want to quickly show you something. I want to show you a team that I bought. That's why I'm opening my downloads now for you to see. I have quite a number, but most times I don't store them here. But let me find something. Um, Okay, see this Team Forest is a team. So it comes as a zip file like this. This is leadership coach. It comes like this, it comes like this. These are teams. Now, with Evanto Forest, Evanto elements, you don't need you don't need you don't need a verification code, but for Team Forest you do. So let me go to downloads. I have some themes that I've purchased from here. And if, for example, you click on the theme, you see I have one license to it, and it's very controlled. I can't even share it with you. If you have access and you use that license, it will deactivate what I currently have. You continue to see updates, and then you see okay, I didn't open where it is. So if you go to support, you can always see the license or the purchase code. So you always need the purchase code. So okay, let me show you. There's something else in this. So do you see this slide? This is over 1,000 sales. These are the reviews. You go to reviews, you see the feedback, and then you can always decide. You go to the comments as well. These are things that can help you decide. Make sure you look at them and also see how often they update. This they update up frequently. See, they just updated in May, which is really good. So when you have the theme, you can just click here, select the zip file, and then install. Now, another thing you should know is that when you're downloading from Team Forest, for example, this now, let's say I want to download this. I want to download this thing I bought. Um, where's my see the download here. When I click on download, it doesn't just download the file, it downloads the whole Team Forest thing. And sometimes it contains that file that is downloading contains the WordPress file, it contains some documents and all of that. Let it download. So most times it contains all of that. Make sure that when you're uploading to this place, to this Teams, you're only uploading the WordPress file. This is very important. So this has finished downloading. Let's give it a sec to set up. Okay, it's opening. So do you see it has opened up, and then you see it has the documentation, it has the themes, and it has licensing and XML export. So it's this is the WordPress file, the zip. We're going to be talking about child later, the child file. We're going to be talking about it much later. I'll be showing you that. So you can import your files here and then click on install, and it will install. When we start installing in the next class, probably you know that. Then we have editor, which takes us to where the codes of your team is. Go back. I'll show you later when I install a theme. Then this is your plugins. I talked about plugins where you have all the functionalities of the site, um, all the things you wanted to make it, have it this color, have this feed show, all of that. You see them here. So the same way you can import a plugin, you can import a theme, you can import a plugin, and you can also click on add new. WordPress already has so many plugins already, so many. They didn't even put the number here. Like there are so many, and you can search for what plugin you want here as well. Then you have users. You can add users to your site here. Just click on add new, put their username. It can be their name, put their email address, first and last name. You don't need to put their website. Can tell them to send an email to them, and then we're going to be talking about roles later. Give them an access, most likely subscriber, and add a user. Subscriber means the person is a subscriber, maybe just has access to some things. Contributor, maybe you have someone who is a blog post, who you want to be a blog writer on your site. You can give the person contributor rights. Person will only have access to the post area. Author, the same thing, similar. Editor, the person can edit some parts of the site but not all access. But if you want the person to have access to everything about the site, you give the person administrator access. Then here you can see your own profile, the profile that you created, and you can make edits if you want. And here we have tools. Under tools, we have available tools, not necessary. Now you see import and export. Everything you see here, you're also going to see on the live site. So when we finish building this site, we are going to export it. And then when we go to the new site online in the hosting, we're going to import it. That's if we're not using the hosting plan of local. We're going to import it. This is where it works. You can also see site health. Site health tells you the state of your site. If there's any issue, to just highlight, oh, there's a team that's not up to date. Oh, their plugins are not up to date. You need to work on it. You can also export personal data from here, erase personal data, edit team, plugin. And then you have settings. Under settings, you have general, where you can change the title of your site. You can work on this once we have secured the site. I don't know why it's not working now, but maybe when I'm doing the tutorial again, I'll teach you. I'll do it and try if it's working. Maybe when I restart my system. When you trust it, instead of it this being HTTP, be HTTPS, that shows it's secured. You can put a tagline. A tagline describes your site or gives it keywords. It's one of the key things that people are able to use to search your site or search engine. You can change your administrative address here, and then anyone can register. You can leave this off, especially if you have just a company's portfolio site. But if you have a site where people can register, you can toggle this on. And when they register, you want them to have subscriber, not administrator. If you have a learning management system or e-commerce site, you might have other roles that you can assign to them. You can choose your site language. You can choose your site time zone, put Lagos, put the location or something, choose your date format, choose your time format, and choose when your week starts. I'm going to remove this S because I've not trusted the site. So if I save it, it will give me errors. So I just put that. Now, under the writing part, you can choose a default category your post should go under. That's when you've created categories for your post under here. The format, nothing so relevant to change here. Under reading, nothing so relevant change as well, blog post and all. Then under discussion, this is where do you want comments to be approved manually, or do you want you to approve the comment before it goes live? So usually I always put comment must be approved because some people can post nonsense and you might not see it. So here in the reading, you just kind of um, make settings for your comments. That's under discussion. And then avatars. What avatar do you want people to show you? This is an avatar. This is my WordPress avatar. We'll be looking at it later, how to create yours, created by Gravatar. And then mystery person, if there's no picture, you can look at all of this. Then we have media. You want to set your thumbnail size. When we start building websites, you'll be seeing these examples, especially when I told you that we'll import all the media we need before we start. So these things will guide. And then this is where it's very important, the permalink. Make sure that your permalink structure is post name. If it's plain or denim or anything, try to change it to post name and save. And I think that's it. Privacy is just normal privacy settings. When you have privacy policy, you can always create it here. And that is it about this dashboard. You also have here where you can log out or edit your profile. So that is all about the WordPress dashboard. Um, uh, Now, that dashboard is looking scanty. There's not so many things in it. But once we start introducing the themes, the plugins, and depending on what we're trying to build, the first site we're going to be building is a portfolio site. Then we'll build an e-commerce site. You will see that it become busy and there'll be so many things to work around. I'm showing you those things because those things are basic things that should be on all WordPress sites. And so if somebody hires you to manage their WordPress site and they're saying, hey, I want you to, although you should just be updating my blog post, you know that where it should consign you is the post. You already know how to log in. Give me a sec, please. 1 minute. So you already know how to log in to a WordPress site. You also know how to what they call it now. You know how to log into the site. You know where the posts are. Most likely the blog post is there. Now there are some websites that have an exception to the rule. So you have some websites where their blog posts are under pages. They kind of created it under pages, not under post. So those ones are exception to the rule, and we'll be seeing how that works. And most times That happens because of the team they used. They didn't use an efficient team that can encompass the website, and so they now try to manipulate some other things, because if they use the post, it doesn't come out well. So those are things we're going to be looking. Those are outliers, and we're going to be looking at them much later. But what we are going to be doing next is to be building the site itself. Um, is to be building the site itself. First, a portfolio website, then an e-commerce website. Then we can now start looking at these excesses. Because we're supposed to finish this program at the end of June, I don't think I want to wait till the next class before we look at the other tutorials. I will try to find a time between now and Saturday to do the tutorials. But I'm already tired of talking right now, so I can't continue. But I'll find time to pre-record it so that you have it on the system, and so you can try your hands on it, because you might not have questions now until you begin to really practicalize it, and you'll be like, oh, I'm stuck here, or this is this. You might be able to see some loopholes here and there. So that's what we're going to pause for today. Do we have any questions, comments, or contributions? And please, how many people have downloaded local? And did any of you, while we are practicing this, try to set up your sites? You know, fantastic, Neye. Were you able to set up your first site already?
I didn't want to. You might make me miss some things. I actually prefer listening
Okay,
and then practicing after.
okay, fantastic. Benson, have you downloaded local? Oh, Abdul Malik, you've downloaded local.
No, no, no. I want to ask a question. That's why I'm raising up my hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. When you started, you mentioned of press.com and press.org, which you actually give the difference between the two of them. But as
Yeah.
we are discussing it, later mention something like either domain or getting a domain to you buy domains online.
Yeah, we're going to look at domain later. We're
I
actually
want to
using
ask a question.
WordPress.org. What? Okay.
I'm just trying to ask a question because you just say something about it and you move to another thing. Like, is there a difference between the way you do it now? You know, you didn't get any domain. So, what's the difference between that press.com without domain and with domain? I just want to know the difference.
Um, no, the .com is not with domain. No, the .com and the
Yes,
what I
I
just
know.
did now is not a difference. It's still WordPress.org. And if you're building a website with a domain, it's still WordPress.org, not WordPress.com. WordPress.com works with Blogger and some other platforms where you want to create a blog and all of that. So you have Blogger, the WordPress.com. Um, and I'd explained, if you listen to the replay, the WordPress.com is has less customizable features. It's not your own. It's not fully your own, right? Now, if I get you right, you might be asking what's the difference between building your website now on local and building your website with your domain and hosting. Is that what you're asking?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So if now as I'm building this website with local, I don't have to buy a domain and hosting. Sometimes you build a website
Okay.
for a client, and then the client gets to say that, oh, I don't like it, redo it again, right? Or you want to
Yeah.
build a website and you don't want to pay for domain and hosting yet. You want to build it offline. Then when you finish building it offline, you can now bring it online, because if you pay for your domain and hosting today, it will start reading from today, such that on the 6th of June 2024, you have to pay renewal. And what if it took you 4 weeks or 3 weeks to build that website? Or maybe 4 months or three
Okay.
months. However, if you build it offline and then when you finish it, you now import it into your hosting. I don't know if you get, you will now be able to carry on from there. But with this, you literally have almost everything that you need when you're building online as well. You have it here as well. Did I answer your question?
Yes, 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 exactly.
Do you understand? So, do you see?
Yes,
Have you ever encountered people? They'll tell you that we'll build your website. When we finish it, that's when you pay. Have you
exactly.
seen those kind of advertisements? This is
Yes,
what they
yes,
do. So
yes.
Yeah, this is what they do. So they build it offline, and then they will now, when you now pay, they will now buy domain and hosting and put it there for you. And the beautiful thing is that when you finish doing this, you can still share a link with them for them to see it before they now, when they now pay, you now put it live. So you can turn it live on. It's just I think it just saves cost, and you can also with this be able to play around a lot. You can learn without having to pay anything.
Okay, yes, yes. Okay, I understand.
All right,
Okay, one more last question. Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, you've been talking about plugins, and you never mentioned one of the plugins. So you said there are very like varieties of plugins to use when.
Uh, Yes, I will mention plugins when we start, when we have set up the team, when we start
Okay,
working on the site. Elementor is a plugin, WooCommerce is a plugin. There are so many plugins, but you missed the orientation, the earlier part when I was describing using a building a house. So the team we will use
I
determines
will
the
add, I listened to it that you said the plugins always being like beautiful of their like designings of the house. You know,
yes,
like
yes. So
I listen to
yes.
it.
Fantastic. So there are some teams that when you install them, they have their own plugins. So when you install them,
Okay,
once you've installed them and activated them, there will be a notification that these are the plugins that are compatible with him. They will ask you to download it immediately. So you download and
okay,
activate. They will tell you that if you don't download and activate, the team will not work properly. So you download and activate. So aside those plugins, you can also bring some external plugins that you feel are suitable for you. Most teams might not have Google review plugin, and you want a Google review on your site, or you want Instagram feed on your site. So you can literally add those externally. But I'm teaching you guys in like a project base. I don't want you to be so overwhelmed that you know many things and you're not able to apply it. So I want us to follow it
exactly.
step by step. As we are going through it, I'll be showing you and explaining each step for you, and also letting you know the outliers, like the ones that can be out of bounds.
Okay.
Mm,
All right, ma'am. I think I'm done with my own question. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Benson, are you clear? Is she still here at all? You're not Bong, are you here? Can you hear me? Maybe she's not here. All right. Thank you, guys. I will make sure this replay is up in the morning so you can go back to it and actually set your own environment so that on or before Tuesday you already have access to the site and you start doing something. Are we good?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm good.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye. Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.